Hey everybody, it's the Trout and welcome to another episode of the Trout Show. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know, I've been playing guitar for decades and I love talking to people that play guitar. And on this show, we've had a lot of great guitarists that come on, but tonight we have something very special. We don't have one, not two, but three fantastic guitarists. Not only are they guitarists, they're Grammy award-winning guitarists. They're called the String Revolution. And here's the other thing that makes them interesting. They're three people from three different countries. Janet comes from the United States, Marcus comes from Austria, and Robert comes from Cuba. But together, collectively, they make up the String Revolution. And they talk about their Grammy-winning song, which was a cover of Folsom Prison Blues. It was unique in a way that they recorded it in Johnny Cash's recording studio, had Johnny Cash's son help him with it, producing it, and even used some of Johnny Cash's guitars to make it happen. And then there was magic, and that's why they're on the show today. So sit back and enjoy this episode with the String Revolution. That's next on The Trout Show. You know, there are times in our life when we come across financial problems that we just don't know what to do. I had a friend recently have a relative of his pass away and left him a large sum of money. He said, what do I do with this? I don't know how to handle it. Well, I've got just the kind of person that you need to talk to if you're in this situation yourself, and that's David Smith with Edward Jones. David can help you look at your situation and provide you expertise that he's done for years. So if you're located in the continental United States, reach out to David Smith with Edward Jones at 469-372-1587. Don't tackle these situations by yourself. Get a hold of someone that can provide you the expertise that will help you make decisions that are important to your financial situation. So don't forget, call David Smith, 469-372-1587 for all the financial assistance that you may come across. David Smith with Edward Jones. How has that changed your life, or has it? Getting a Grammy. Other than you can tell everybody I got a Grammy, you can sign everything Grammy winner. What has it done?
Well, first of all, I needed to install that thing on top of my wall. So my room looks now different. That's the no. But joke aside, I mean, it was a fantastic experience, and of course, you know, to be among so many incredible musicians, that was already like, yeah, that was just fantastic. And what it's done, I guess it's kind of like a nice business card to have. So just to the people think now, hey, we don't suck as much. So, yeah.
Well, as I said to Janet, just having the name Grammy nominated is pretty cool, but then when it says Grammy winner, that changes the whole thing.
For sure, yeah. I mean, the nomination was already, you know, a huge, you know, huge thing. But as Marcus said, the people who were nominated beside us, I mean, it was pretty amazing.
Who else was up for that same?
Well, the guy who did the composer,
Ludwig Göransson was up.
Yeah, Göransson from the movie. What's the movie?
Oppenheimer.
Right.
Oh, Oppenheimer. Oh, okay. Oh.
For a piece in the movie, which was an amazing piece, and then. Right. There was
Mick Jagger.
Well, so Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were on as arrangers, but it's actually our friend now. We've become friends with Essen, great composer and conductor. She did a version of Paint It Black for the Addams Family that was on Netflix.
Okay.
Fantastic cello version. And then there was Hilario Duran. And you know him, right, Robert?
Yeah, a Cuban musician living in Canada.
Right, and he had a exceptional jazz piece with just like these musicians were like, I'm like, what chord is that? You know, you know. So yeah, and did I cover everybody? Am I missing one? I can't remember, but it's here's the thing about the Grammys. It's the only award, at least here in America, where the peers vote, right?
Yes, I know. I do know that. Yeah, the Recording
People
Academy.
who are musicians,
Yes,
for the
yes.
most part, they're the ones who are voting, as opposed to the Academy Awards
Yeah.
or the Emmys, where you get, you get studio heads, you get all kinds of people. They're not just the actors voting. This is really peer voting, and that's a really great honor, and I think that all of us have been, we've all worked hard in many different ways separately and as a band, and it's very nice to be, validated is not the right word, but
No, I think so.
yeah.
I think so. I think, I used to tell my friends back when I was 18 years old, when I won a Grammy, and I said, when I get up to accept it, and I say, I want to thank all the little people. You're one of those little people. So that's the ones you're a part of. So
I think,
let me go back to that. I just want to cover this real quick.
yeah, sure.
So when you guys did that song with Tommy Emmanuel, and you finished, did you say, wow, this is really fantastic? I mean, when you walk out of that cabin, did you guys look at each other and go, like, man, we got something special? You're all laughing. So tell me, what did you think?
What do you think, Robert?
Well, for me, coming from another country and just landed in this place called Nashville, which I love because of the history,
This
all the
place.
country history. Um, um, being the Cash Cabin where Johnny Cash made his, most famous records, and be able to collaborate with the Cash family, with John Carter, who, by the way, was also producer in the song. Uh, was like a dream come true. Usually we listen Johnny Cash records as a bootleg in Cuba. We don't have
Wow.
like a store that we can go and buy the CD. I always been fascinated with the music, with the country music, with Hank Williams, Willie Nelson, the Highwaymen.
Oh, yeah.
Who, by the way, I want to pay honor and homage to Chris Christopherson,
Yeah,
who passed away. Um,
yeah,
and
that's
be there, being part of the American history uh, is like it's unbelievable for me. You know, I had such amazing experience doing the record, and like I told Janet, I say, hey, for the band, I don't wanna do another cover song. I just wanna do like a rearrangement, like put the song, all the things together and try to become with something that really represents us as the string revolution. Doing an arrangement is not like mostly common. Um, and yeah, we work hard. We did pay attention to every details, and the guys worked super hard in the edition, doing all the stuff. It's You can imagine how uh, difficult for us is to sometimes to like raise the level. We always want to raise the level,
Mhm.
raise the bar, and doing amazing things
Right.
and things and having fun in the process. And for me, that is what that's how it was. It was like a magic journey, visiting all these places, all this kind of music, learning a lot because I have to learn some stuff from here. Um, I am very honored. I'm very pleased. I'm very grateful to work with this musician, with Janet Marcus, Tommy, and John Carter.
I think it's interesting to me because this is what I ask a lot of players. And that is, I interviewed, it's been over a year ago now, I interviewed Joe Bonamassa's drummer for years. And I said, I think he did over 600 dates with him. And I said, when did you know that moment that you thought, I made it? That moment, and it's different for everybody. And he did also played with Kenny Wayne Shepherd for a long time. and he said, "We're doing the famous Blue on Black by Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and I'm playing drums on it." And I go, "Holy crap, I'm playing drums on with Kenny Wayne Shepherd." My point being is that was probably the moment, I think, if you were sitting there going to yourselves, all three of you probably went, "This is kind of interesting. I'm sitting here in this cabin doing this song, Johnny Cash's son producing it. What the hell am I doing here?" I mean, you're all very talented, but that I'm sure that it comes up in your mind like, this is just different.
I I think we all love this song, and I had a previous relationship with John Carter, having done 2 records with him. Um, it just all made sense, and it made sense to have Tommy Emmanuel on this track. I can't think of anybody better to have had to have tracked this. And to answer your question, really, when we finally got in the car and we left, I mean, well, first of all, Tommy was playing. We're like, we gotta go home and practice. I mean, in my head, I was like, shit, how are we gonna recreate? Who's playing that part? Robert?
I'm trying. Somebody has to do it. I'm
I
trying.
mean, you don't think automatically Grammy or anything. You just think,
Oh, no.
wow, this is going to be special. And we spent time editing along with John Carter. And I think once we heard it all together with everything, we were like, I remember one time with Marcus in his studio where he's at right now, after we got the mastered version from Emerson Mancini. Robert, you weren't there that night, but the 2 of us were listening to his master, and we just were like, what the fuck? It was like, it sounded so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like every little part was just something very special. You go in and I mean, when we recorded it, it was just the first take which we took at the end because we recorded it
Wow.
and we thought we'd do just a sound check just to warm up. And
Mhm.
Cash was there, yeah, that's cool, that's it. And we were like, what the?
I'm like, I want to do it again 58 times,
Yeah. But and then of course Tommy Manuel playing was fantastic. Every little, all those experiences, and then we went into editing, and because Tommy gave us so much material, we had like to cut it down and like make sure like it fits with everything else, and then we're here in the studio, and all those parts we were like just like every time we did something, it just added to it. It got better, and then the mixing engineer got their hands on it, and then the mix was already like incredible, right?
Matthew Hyde, by the way, Matt
Yeah,
Hyde.
that's correct. And then the mastering engineer got their hands on it, and it was the icing on the cake, and um, it was just. I mean, first of all, it was just fun. Like for me, that's the one thing. I just want to have a good time
Yeah.
with good people, talented people, and just yeah, have a good time. And I think we can hear it that we have a good time. And working with those people is just such a blessing. You just do it, and then suddenly we looked at each other and we're like, fuck, it's not. I mean, I'm Austrian, so I'm always very sarcastic and very hesitant. So the
Really?
first thing I always say is like, oh, that sucks. You can be on it like, and I'm the first one to throw all the things out, and like I'm overly hesitant about things, but it didn't suck. So that's you have to be. I'm always try to be careful because I try to live in the moment of those things, and I'm also try to like the most important thing is the music and the feeling for it, and if the music is right, then the rest is all add-ons. And it was fun for us. We had a great time, and we're also very, very happy. And it's also good to see that the Grammy voters also agreed with us that they enjoyed it as well, which was I think the nicest thing ever. Like if you know how many talented and incredible
Oh, yeah.
musicians listen to it, then they think what you did is worth that
Yeah.
price. It's just a beautiful feeling.
You know, I think the hard thing about it is once you hit it, then you got to go, how do you get better? You know, you got a Grammy song and you've won a Grammy. Now you're
Yeah.
going like, okay, we got to keep doing stuff so we get it. I don't really think you look at it as a Grammy, but
I
but do you understand what I'm saying? Because I think at
I
point,
do, and
Mm-hmm.
I
you know,
think
as a performer, you always want to
Yeah.
do better every time you go to the studio.
well, whether you win a Grammy or not, you always want to do better anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't, and you have to look at each project and album project or single project as a separate entity and make the best,
Yeah.
sculpt the best thing out of what you can't be like, oh, I have to top that.
Oh, no, I don't think you do. I don't think
Yeah,
none of us do that. If
and
you do, you'll never make it. Yeah.
no, and everything is so different. Every song you choose, or original or whatever, your approach is different. I mean, this was an interesting approach. Just technically speaking, your listeners might be interested in the fact that in Cash Cabin in the live room, well, first of all, we've never tracked at the same. Well, we have tracked at the same time, but in separate rooms,
Mm-hmm.
right, Marcus?
Right.
So we
So
were in one room
yeah.
with like small baffles. Okay,
Okay, that's what I was
very
going to ask you.
small.
How they
Yeah,
separate.
very small baffles, and John
Yeah.
Carter's sitting like in the middle of the room.
There
Like
was
he's
no
there.
there was no real editing per se. It was really, I mean, you can just clean up a few things, but what you record is what you get. Right.
That's right. And there was bleed, of course. And we did have Byron House on upright bass. He was also in the room with us. And I was like, okay, I got really, we got a little nervous that, we're not separated. How's this going to be? But here's the thing, I think with John
And also, I mean, in regards to what Janet is saying, why I think everyone who records knows that normally if you want to get a good recording, uh, everyone is making some small mistakes, right? At
Oh,
least in
sure.
Right.
play perception. You want to fix it, or you would normally re-record stuff, right? And then normally, if you don't have that, you just go in and edit some things and just make
Right.
sure like you can hear it well as one note, or you use volume things so you can hear some parts a little bit better. But that was not the case. We couldn't do that. You know.
Well,
No, it was all on the fly, like, record, play, and we were literally just like, we'd only rehearsed the arrangement like maybe twice, so we were still trying to remember the arrangement when we showed
Right.
up at Cash Cabin, and I think that song needed that vibe, that's the kind of song it is, and it needed that vibe. But whatever else we do next, we'll need some other kind of vibe, and then after that, another kind of thing. You have to treat, I think, each piece separately, and you can't think, about, well, we got to top it. I mean, you got to just do what feels good, and what feels good to the band, what feels
Well,
good
that
to
kind
us.
of reminds me of the old studio people. What are you gonna do? Don't tell me what you're done. Tell me what you're gonna do for me next. Kind of thing.
Right. Well,
People
that
use.
but
Exactly.
that's the healthy way of thinking, because I mean, what should I do? Should I run around with my grandma in my arm and like go to the bakery right now? Just
Well, I keep mine in the trunk, just in case. 'Cause-
just in case.
Somebody I heard one time was an Academy Award winner. Kept it. I don't remember who it was. Kept it in the bathroom
oh my God,
so
that's
people
funny.
could hold it up and stand in
Touch
the
it.
mirror and
Oh,
go
and look at
pretend
themselves.
like I'm getting the do a thing. But
That
I
was
want to go back to what you said, Marcus. I think one of the things, the first time I heard it is, there's two things I want to say. One, it has a life of its own. And now that you've explained all that to me, I understand. Prison Blues, we talk about space and music. You guys had a life to it. It's Phil lilting or something. I don't know how to
no,
explain it, but
it's
that's
live.
it.
It's
And
live.
that's why.
Yeah, we played it live.
Yeah, so that's why, and because you feed off each other, obviously, that's why we play outperform because we get better when we perform out. But the other thing you were talking about, Marcus, I don't think the average listener, only professionals that sit down and listen to it, probably pick out all this stuff. You know,
Right.
we sit and listen to it and go, "Oh my God, I hear a little squeak there. I need to go back.
Right.
Can we clean that little squeak up?" You know, and all that stuff. They don't really hear that stuff that much. I don't think so.
That's true. I think for me, and I think that's for me the most important thing is you want to hear what's important. The rest doesn't matter. And
Mm.
as long as whatever you have doesn't distract from what is important in at that
Exactly.
specific moment. If you want to make this this 10 seconds is important specific rhythm because for whatever reason you need it later, then you want to make sure nothing distracts this one rhythm, or you have a
Exactly.
specific melody which is maybe a little thin melody up there. You don't want to have any else distracted, like. And I'm talking about that more than anything else, because background noise, yeah, you have it
Oh yeah.
nonstop, and I couldn't care less about that stuff, like the most important. Otherwise, you would, as you say, you would never stop editing stuff, right?
No,
And we do have to mention Trey, um, Trey Hill. I don't know his last name. Is it Hill? Uh,
Call.
Hall, Trey Hall. Yeah, the engineer at Cash Cabin. Now he's
okay.
like the resident engineer, and that guy knows his fucking shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That guy knows his stuff, man. And they have amazing microphones. And he set us up in a way. Sure, there was bleed, but I don't know the juju behind it because I'm not that kind of engineer, you know. But he was amazing,
he was
amazing.
he
Like
was
Those guys hear shit we never do. I mean, it's kind of like,
I don't know.
and if you go in the studio, those guys that know what they're doing. It's scary what they do. They're here
It's
and they're there and they're doing stuff right here, and I'm going like, I could
Oh,
never remember that. I mean, that's because they do it all the time.
no, and they know what mics to use and how to mic up your guitars. And each guitar that we play is very different.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of the fact that I can't remember on our podcast if I mentioned the fact that Marcus got to play Johnny's Martin.
No, you didn't.
So Marcus can tell that story, and then he can also talk about the electric guitar that Robert played.
well. That's a incredible story. I think I will continue to tell my children and
Your
grandchildren.
grandchildren.
Which, but so yeah, we went in the studio, which was already incredible, as we mentioned, and then suddenly he brought some. He said, "Hey, I have something for you guys," and then he brought. He opened the safe and he brought out a 1930 Martin guitar.
And when you said safe, I knew it had to be something special.
Yeah.
It's like it's in a safe. Yeah.
Well, like it's really
Evolved.
it's evolved. It's really evolved. And then he said, and he gave me his 1930 Martin guitar from his dad, from Johnny Cash.
Mm.
Holding Johnny Cash, and I'm not talking about it's a remake. I'm not talking it's something he bought.
No,
You know,
it's the actual guitar. Yeah.
that's his actual guitar he was playing. And so, he gave it to my hand. I was like, oh, what should I do with that? He said, "You just fucking play." I'm adding now the fucking, but he kind of said it. But I was already like, and that instrument sounded good. That sounded so good. So we used that, and having just this experience. So I was sitting in Johnny Cash's studio, ha playing Johnny Cash's guitar with Johnny Cash's son, on having in front of me a picture
Of
of
Johnny Cash.
a painting of Johnny Cash,
And we're playing a Johnny Cash
Cash
song.
song. Yeah.
smiling on me, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So I had this surreal moment where I'm like, the little Austrian guy, coming to America, and just suddenly I'm doing that stuff. It was fun, man. It was just such a blessing. And John Carter Cash is such a kind soul, his son, and such an incredible, talented and mindful, and he's a musician. He's not
Instincts, right? His instincts.
instincts, his ideas are just always are spot on, you know.
I
So
think that's from probably listening to his dad all those years.
Oh, it wasn't
Yeah.
only his dad. He told me stories of like
Oh, I can imagine all the people he met.
yeah, like Elvis and Roy Orbison
Oh, yeah.
coming over and like jamming. I mean, You, you grow up with that stuff. I mean, Loretta Lynn hanging out. I mean, it's gonna sink into you, isn't it?
Well, and you got the top of the people at the time, and I'm sure to them they were just friends of theirs that came over.
Yeah, but
I mean, you look at other people that around the Jeff Beck and the Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page time,
true.
they all knew each other.
It's true.
So then it was like, hey, come on over, let's do some stuff. Let's get some stuff down.
But if you're the son and you're sitting there and you're listening to that, and it's kind of getting into your head, that's why like his instincts, for example, the intro of our version of Folsom, it's quite long. And first of all, it was already long, and then he elongated it in the studio. And I was like, what the fuck, man? People aren't going to listen to this. It's too long, And of course, I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, he had this instinct of building.
We all know the song. We all know what's coming to a certain degree.
Of course.
You're waiting for the melody. You're waiting for, we all know what's coming.
And he came up with this other idea, and
the train is coming. That's
it's exactly right. I was thinking the same thing. The train's coming down the track. It's going to be stopped. It's going to pull in the station. Now, did I hear you say? Did you say something about electric guitar?
But yeah, Robert, tell him about the Squire.
Yeah, it was at the end of the session, and I think it was like midnight. We always almost pack up, waiting for the bounce or whatever. We're listening to this melody, and Trey called the engineer, say, hey, by the way, do you guys want to see the vault? And in the vault was a lot of guitars.
More guitars.
Belongs to Johnny. The reels from the Johnny Cash, the TV show.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that show. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And among all these beautiful guitars, he pulled out this Fender Squire. I know you got things granted, but for me, I didn't know that Telecaster with one pickup exists. So for me, it's kind of new,
Right. Yeah.
And he told me, oh, this is a Fender Squire. It's a very old guitar. Used to belong to Luther Perkins, which is the guy playing the guitar in the Folsom in the video. And he told, do you guys want to play with the guitar added to the track? Whereas we say, hell yeah. And we did the magic riff, the ding, 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 ding. And we added the song. And, it's the perfect, the pinch of salt that you...
That's the only electric guitar part that's on that.
That's right. That's the iconic. Dun, 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 that part. Yeah. All right. So let's not forget. What did you play it through? Do you remember what you played it through?
Oh, what? It was like an old Fender amp, wasn't it?
It had to be a Fender, I imagine.
Do you remember?
Maybe a Princeton or Fender.
It was like a small one.
Yeah, small one.
They got in the bathroom of the cabin all these old Fenders.
Yeah.
Because they built the studio next to the cabin. So if you take a moment if you take a break or something and you stay in the cabin for a minute, you can expect Johnny, walk in, because they didn't change they didn't change nothing. There's all Johnny's, hunting prizes and
June. There's a lot of June stuff. Yeah.
June Carter Cash.
And it's in the middle of the forest.
And your painting is there now, Robert.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, I might have been.
Robert is an artist as well, and he gave it.
You have to send. I went to your I guess you have a small Instagram, but mostly Facebook. I saw your Facebook page too. I was looking.
Yes, Instagram too.
Yeah.
Janet told me that made my Instagram.
So let me kind of change tracks a little bit. How long you guys been together now? Are you going 9-10 years? How long has it been now that you've known each other?
Well, the entity of the String Revolution has been together almost 9 years. We've gone through some changes. A few years ago, we had a couple of different guys. One moved back to Switzerland. Another one wanted to open up a recording studio. And Marcus and I have been there since the beginning. And
you can hear my gray hairs. Like if you count the gray hairs.
Mine's white, brother, so don't say nothing.
Exactly. Mine's all colored anyway. But when those guys left, we decided, to maybe try this project as a trio. And we found Robert, and he just was the right fit. If you look at all of our individual careers and our backgrounds, very different. But
Well, I
that's
think it's interesting that it's from three different countries.
well,
I mean, right there, you got the background.
That's a great recipe. To me, that's a great recipe.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't want to have the same ingredients in a. So and Robert was, I think, the missing key to really making the string revolution rise to what the vision of it originally was.
And so, who was the idea to come up with and say, I mean, you guys could have gone down a path of playing, I don't know, Bach and Beethoven or old, 40 classics or something that Les Paul would have done or something like that. But no, you said, let's do covers of rock songs and famous songs in a completely different vein, which I think is brilliant. But what was the first one that you guys did? I read it, but I couldn't remember. What was the first one that was a rock song that you guys did?
Well, Marcus, in rehearsal, you started playing Billie Jean. I was like, what the fuck, man? That's cool. I remember at West Side Studio.
Yeah, I remember because it was actually a solo arrangement originally, right? So it was just like everything just played on one guitar, where you just have like the parts, like if it makes sense if you can hear.
Yeah, you had a whole arrangement.
The problem with on the cameras don't pick it up. That everybody puts their guitar. It starts distorting. I don't know why.
And anyway, so I think we just started like this. I mean, at the end, we just wanted to do things we think it works well with the guitars.
But also, I think my personal feeling is, if you're going to do a cover, why are you going to do it the same way? I mean, it's already been done. And we're already in a different vein because we're all guitars. So when he started playing that Billie Jean, I was like, we could do something cool with this, to enhance it and back it up with the other guitars and make it sound different, but still leave the soul of the song in there. And mind you, yes, our covers get a lot of attention because people know them, but we make that same approach with our originals. Same thing.
So Robert, you're the new kid on the block.
Not so new anymore.
Kind of.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. And what attracted you to play with these two fine people?
First, it was kind of a unique thing for me. I was, by the time that Janet reached me, COVID was still, a thing.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
I understand.
Slowly decreased. And just because COVID, I had to. I was working in the factory by night, and I received this Instagram message from Janet say, "Hey, I saw you Instagram, and we're pulling a band together. This is our stuff. Is something that you are interested in?" I say, "Yeah, I just want to play." And I love the music. I reached them, and I saw this a couple albums that they made in the past, and I like it. I love the idea, And I say, yeah, I want to play again, And thank God, copies went out, and we started like rehearsing, and I met the guys, but I love the idea from the beginning. I love the arrangement that they have been doing as a four-piece band. We just try to reaccommodate or doing the range properly for a trio. I just try to respect most of the arrangement. I make I did my charts. I say, hey guys, this is where I came from. We try a couple of rehearsals and try to do the songs again as a trio, and they like it.
Yeah. He came in and sort of started playing, the two guys' parts, the other two guys' parts meshed in a way that I think Marcus and I were just like, what the What? This is what? This is amazing, right? What did you say before, Marcus? Like this is how the string revolution should have always sounded. Nothing against the other guys, but
No, I understand.
is that correct, Marcus? Did I quote you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember anymore to be honest, but I remember that I felt it this way. You know, it was
Yeah.
just like it just made sense. It just suddenly everything sounded way better. So it was good.
Less is more sometimes, you know. You could really hear the
Yeah.
arrangements with a trio.
Right. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
and you know, I think listening to you guys, I think when I was reading the bio and all that stuff, I said it earlier. I think your history is so unique for each one of you because you know, like when you get in a band again, I've been in a lot of bands. We all have kind of, I'm the drummer, I'm the guitarist, you're the rhythm player, you know, kind of thing. But you guys all stand on your own as great performers, which really adds to it. And the one thing I learned, and it took me a long time to learn this, was I'm not competing with anybody because I am how I play is how I play. Okay?
Mhm.
There's other people, like you said, Tommy, you're like, we need to go back and practice. You know, I don't disagree with that, but it's like,
No, it's inspirational.
no,
It's
yeah, but I understand
Mhm.
exactly because it's like it's inspirational because
yeah.
you know, I realize it's like, okay, this is the way I play. If you like it, if you don't, that's okay. I'm not going to be compared to, and that's what people want to do. They want to put you in a box. You know, and
True.
if people listen to my rock music, my original stuff, they go, well, I hear a little of this and I hear that. Well, yeah, because I grew up with Pete Townsend, David Gilmour, Jeff Beck, Jimmy, all these people. Of course, I'm influenced by that.
Of course.
So, but each one of you, if you look at your bios and your pedigrees, every one of you have already been accomplished musicians. I know Janet because we had a conversation before. Marcus, you went to school, didn't you, to get your degree in music, or am I incorrect in that?
Yeah, I know what I don't know why. I have no idea, but no.
Because you can actually read music.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not right. That's not true. We shouldn't have that. That conversation's over now. We're not going to read music.
You have your master's, don't you, Marcus?
What was that?
You have your master's.
Yeah, I do. But yeah, I mean, that was just for me. I started university. I just did it without even, it just happened. I went to university quickly because I started to play guitar. And then when I was 15, I did the exam for university and I started university with 15 and I finished my bachelor with 19.
Wow, that's young.
I
Yeah, that's
finished
young.
my master with 23 then later and still being a year, yeah, it just happened very quickly. And then and for me it was just a nice place because I come from a small town in Austria. I mean, yeah, it's a small town actually. There's not so much stuff happening necessarily. So being at university was just a nice place for me to meet a lot of musicians and play with a lot of people. You know, that was the thing for me that helped me actually to get to know a lot of people and play a lot of different styles. I played flamenco, tango, I played jazz, I did all that stuff, you know. Then I moved to Spain as well and started with Manuel Canizares, flamenco, and continued stuff. I think yeah, that was for me. Just it helped me to get to know people. So I hadn't no I wasn't in the position to go to a big city at this point because I was just seven 15, 16.
Mm.
So and then 17 when I moved to the next place. But yeah, that's why it happened. Yeah.
One of the things that I think is important for me is knowing people or visiting with people that have it. You know what I mean? Because I used to watch. I've watched American Idol for years just to see the kids that come on there, and I had the privilege of working with one of them a few years ago. But, um, and I remember, you know, my wife would say, "What do you mean by they have it?" And I go, they have it, and you can't fake it. If you got it, you got it. If you don't, you can be a great player, but there's something about having it that makes
Yeah.
a big difference on you. Like Tommy Emmanuel has it. I mean, he's got
I
it in
think
spades, but I mean, still.
he does. I think that's just the passion coming out in the talent. It's a combination.
And the other thing about it is, I've always said this to people all the time. It's a gift they're given. I think every one of us gets a gift to be able. If we, I love playing guitar, and you all love playing it. You made a career out of it. But sometimes I sit and think about when I write a song, I'm like, where does this come from? All of a sudden you're doing three notes, and all of a sudden the song builds up, and you're like, I got to record that, and you get through with it, and you're like, I don't even know where all that came from. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time because you can't stop. It's like you can't stop. It's like my wife says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm working." I told her this. What was it? She says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm working on a new tone, a new song. I got to finish it up." And you just get in the mood. You go down and do it. And I think that, and what I see from you guys is that's what I like about what you do. It's different, but intriguing is another great word for you guys too. Is the fact that you're intriguing musicians, each one of you stand on your own, which brings in the fact that you're a group, but you're all individuals at the same time. So what's the goal? I mean, you guys don't do a lot of dates. Is it because you just don't have the time for it? Is it too much work? I mean, I shouldn't say it that way, but I mean, I know it's hard. Is it hard to get gigs? I mean, you guys got a name, but you're Grammy nominated winners. So why don't you do more go out and do more?
Well, I think there are a couple of reasons. First of all, we were very, very busy also with producing stuff. On the one hand, we want to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And as you said, to go out on road, it's just really after COVID, everything is a little bit more difficult to get those gigs as well. And even though whenever we play the audience still our shows, I think we just have a lot of fun for us and for the audience. And as you said, for us, it's a playground. We just have so much fun doing it, and I think the audience hears it. But I think after COVID, it was a little bit more difficult, and this slowly catches up right now. But it needs to make sense for us to leave the city and to do things because, yeah, we just want to do so many different things.
I think we want to balance our new recordings and opportunities that we have right now, along with, like Marcus said, making sense to go out on the road. We just came back from Dollywood, and
you did.
We had 6 great shows there. It was amazing. I was unsure if they would like our eclectic brand of music, but they loved it, because we run the gamut of a lot of genres,
Sure. Yeah, you do.
And there's no singing. There's no singing,
No.
But I'm looking at the people in the audience and they were listening. You got to captivate people. If you're going to be instrumental in some way, it better be entertaining. People are spending money to come see you, and I feel we put on a very entertaining show. Singer or no singer, it doesn't matter, and I think, like you said, it needs to make sense to go on the road right now. Things are ramping up. Venues are ramping up. We do have some dates coming up with the California Guitar Trio. And then we are, of course, going out on the road with Tommy Emmanuel in December. We're opening.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you played here in the Texas area not too long ago. You were in Austin.
You did. That was great in Austin, right, guys?
Right.
Because I had a young performer out of Nashville. She says, great. She's a blues harmonica player, 16. She's already won awards. She's on her way. And she said, "Hey, I want to meet you. I'm going to go to," I think she was going to San Antonio. How close you are? They don't realize how big Texas is. They don't think about it.
Texas is huge.
And I told her, I said, "Well, I'm only 5-hour drive." She goes, "Oh my God, I had no idea." I said, "Yeah." So I said, "I'm not coming to see you." But so let me ask you, when you guys are playing, what's the one song that everybody likes? There's always one song that people kind of get off on. Let's put it in the set list because we know that's what they're all going to like it. What's the one song that always gets them going?
There's more than one for us, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I actually was smiling when you said, "Oh, it's always one." It's actually not always one. I'm always so surprised. It's so many different things.
I mean, the second song we usually go into is Billie Jean, and it's just automatically recognizable. You know, whether you like that genre of music or not, it's just dun 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 dun. You can't escape that bass line. You know, it's like, yeah, and it's a classic. But you know, Rocket Man, people love, and then Folsom, I think people love that.
What do you end up on? What's your last tune? Does it change?
It's a Fleetwood Mac medley, and
So what are the songs?
quite exciting. I got to say, it's go
What's
your own.
what's the list? What's in it?
The end is Go Your Own Way. What do we start out with? The Chain,
Oh, okay.
right? Then we go into
Dun, dun,
Tusk,
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, yeah.
then Tusk, and then after Tusk,
Dreams, I think.
Dreams, yeah.
Mhm.
And then Rhiannon, or is it Rhiannon?
Rhiannon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Rhiannon, and then what? Go Your Own
Yeah.
Way.
Going Your Own Way.
And the way I hope, Rick, that you can come see us live someday, because we intermesh it in the String Revolution way.
Well, that's the rule. And anytime anybody comes to Dallas, I always get to see them because they put me on the list. That's the way.
So you'll be on the list for sure the next
I
time.
just saw Walter Trout, and this is off the subject a little bit, but Walter and I've been talking back and forth for about a year and
Are
a
you
half.
related?
No, and that was the funny thing about it, because when I interviewed him, he goes, "I'm confused. I'm on the Trout show with a guy named Troutman, and my name is Trout. What's the deal here?" And that's how I got on. I told him, as PR people, I said, "Look, I'm almost the same age as he is. I play blues, and I can't get much closer unless I drop off the man, you know." Now, which one of you, is it Robert? Which one of you plays the mostly nylon? Is that you?
Marcus.
That's
Oh,
me.
Marcus is that you're the one who
Yeah.
plays mostly nylon.
Marcus, yeah.
I could see that because of your background. And what is the and most of the people that play nylon string, their guitars are custom made. Where was your favorite guitar made?
I have a couple of. They're all custom made.
That's what
So-
I thought.
They all, yeah. So there's not a singing one which is off the shelf. There's not so many off the shelf.
You got a new one, didn't you? It just
Yeah, I have a problem with that actually.
Oh.
No, meaning a problem with not buying guitars. You know,
oh,
no.
right.
No, guitars.
No, but that one sounds really good. You got that in Spain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So I have a couple of guitars, but this one, the right one, I have a lot of flamenco guitars right now. Which I
Don't
like
they have
very-
don't they have a wider neck? Does it have a wider neck?
No, it's just the body is a little bit smaller,
Okay.
and the attack is a little bit different.
But the wider neck, it is wider than a steel string.
Yeah, that
Compared to steel
this-
and electric, they're
Yeah.
wide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much
yeah.
wider. Yeah.
that yes, but that's in general all the classic, and then
Yeah.
classic. They sometimes have even wider necks. I have a Baco Marine as well, and then yeah. So a couple of flamenco, then classic ones. Yeah.
And Robert, what's your favorite guitar to play?
I couldn't tell, man.
You just like
I
playing
play
different ones?
Yeah, I play electric. I play nylon string, Cuban threads, banjo,
Banjo.
bass. Yeah, I love
Good
that.
banjo player.
5-string? 4-string? 5-string?
5-string, yeah.
That's an
Yeah,
American instrument right there. Only Americans can
Yeah.
come up with something that sounds like that.
How a Cuban plays banjo, I'm still.
Yeah, I just love it. Yeah, I hear this instrument. I didn't know at the beginning the name of the instrument, and I had to take a picture and bring it to my professor and say, "Hey,
You didn't
I
know
can."
the name of it.
No, I didn't know the name
Wow.
because my first approach to the banjo, I think, was Bella Fleck,
Right.
and he was
Oh, yeah,
he
of
was
course,
playing.
yeah.
Yeah, he was playing an electric banjo that looks like a guitar, electric guitar.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
put the acoustic one and say, it must be the same instrument, but different. I don't know. I had to
Interesting.
take a picture, and my professor say, "Hey, that's an instrument. It's called banjo, and it's made from. It's made in North America, and this and that." I say, "Well, I love it. I want to play it."
You know,
say
it comes from Africa originally, just FYI.
Yes, it comes from Africa.
Probably was
told,
only 4 strings at the time, maybe 3 even. Who knows?
yeah, and the string, they told me that the string was like a guts from animals or
Oh yeah,
something.
animal. Yeah, cat gut. Yeah,
Cat
cat
gut.
gut. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Really
yeah,
hard to keep in tune.
Jan is gonna puke right now.
Well, we're cat people, so yeah.
So,
But cat sounds fantastic. I only have to say
yeah,
good about cats.
but yeah, I couldn't tell my favorite instrument. I think I will go with acoustic because it's more natural. You don't have to have an amp or anything. But I love electrics, and I was more like my mind years ago was more narrow. Like I only played a certain type of guitar or certain type of genre or styles. And nowadays it's not about that. Nowadays it's just about how awesome it is to have different instruments and combine together to make some music. But the short answer would be an acoustic, an acoustic guitar.
And Janet, were you a Taylor person? Or you?
I am a Taylor person.
So I
Been for a
thought.
long time. I have a series that they don't make anymore. It's a DCSM signature series from Dan Crary, who's a flat picker, bluegrass flat picker, and it's kind of a wider, dreadnought. So it's got the real boomy sound, but a real thin neck. Because really, I do come from the electric guitar background.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, having Randy Rhodes being my teacher, and I did start on classical, but then and steel string, but I quickly moved to electric guitar. And I honestly can't tell you what's my favorite, but my two favorite axes, are my Taylor DCSM and my Telly, my 1952 reissue Telly.
Oh, Telly.
But I would have to probably go with Robert. The same thing. When you pick up, your acoustic guitar, it's ready to go.
Yeah, that's why I have 3 sitting behind me right now.
Yeah, you go harken back to Keith Richards. Just saying, well, if you're gonna learn how to play guitar, you better learn on acoustic steel string.
It's funny. The one sitting back here is tuned to G. You talk about Keith.
Keith.
That's tuned to G.
But I love electric. I love. It just depends. I mean, and who knows? We may incorporate electric guitar into the string revolution at some point. We have incorporated an acoustic electric baritone into our band, and he's on one of our new recordings. Robert's playing the tres, which is a Mexican instrument, I believe. Cuban. Sorry. And then Marcus on another original that we're working on is playing the
Charango.
Yeah, Charango.
Charango.
What is that?
Rondroco. It's an instrument from the Andean.
Peru.
So, Peru, or among other things. Yeah, it's like who is Santayola is playing that instrument very often.
Like Gustavo Santaolalla, the composer, he uses it a lot. And I mean, again, we are the string revolution.
Yeah.
So if it has strings, we'll play it. And
even its cat strings.
All right, maybe not that.
I do have a quick question for you, Marcus. When you have the classical guitars, do they have pickups inside, or you just mic them?
That's actually a good question.
Really good question.
Yeah, because I have one where I install pickups inside. I use the guys from LR Bags, which I love it's called the Anthem thing. I have that inside, which is then going in the bridge and the mic on top. But I have some other guitars where I don't. I use this not intrusive mic, so I'm not putting any holes in the guitar because the guitar is too. The moment you put something in there, because those guitars they vibrate in a completely different way.
Sure.
So it's actually killing them a little bit. You have to be super, super careful with that, where you put the mics and if you put mics in there. So I have with every guitar a little bit of different system. It's kind of like try and error, because as I said, every guitar resonates a little bit different, and for me it's important that that it sounds good. But yeah, I'm very happy how the sound we got at the end. Last time I had someone. Where was that? I think it was in somewhere close to New York, where someone said, "Hey, your guitar sounds fantastic." I had all those big shots coming in, and all their guitars sound like shit, and yours is just like. Um, and I'm very happy about that to hear it sometimes.
Well, and
But
you're still at the mercy of the PA. I mean, you're still,
Well, we
yeah,
have fixed a little bit of that as well, because Marcus's idea all along was we need to get some, well, AER amps, like Tommy. So we've got them now. We travel with our own acoustic amps, so that we're not so much at the mercy. Sure, in the house, of course.
yeah, you are. But yeah,
so we can it's in our terms. So we walk in already with a very specific sound in mind, and nobody can take that away anymore. So that's the idea.
Correct.
and it's interesting when you think about it too. Here you're all individual players, all different, but you have your own sound as the String Revolution.
Oh, that's no question. There's
So
a
it's just
sound.
it's just really cool. I mean, I think that's really that's.
No question. It has to do with the kind of Chardonnay that I drink when we're arranging.
Okay, a little bit of sponsoring. Sponsored by.
We've got some really good endorsements, but oddly enough, we are sponsored by Martin Strings for our Taylor guitars.
But that's what I use on my acoustics. On my electric, I use the Aderios, but I mean on acoustics, I've always used Martin Strings.
Martin Strings are amazing, and
Very, very
nobody has
good.
a problem. We have no exclusives with anybody. But
No, I mean, if somebody gives you strings, that's what I always tell people. Hey, if they're going to give you a year's worth of strings, as long as they're what you like, who cares?
100%. Yeah, we're very, very happy with them and all of our endorsers. But
Yeah.
back to what you were
I
saying.
I'm actually, and now since we're already talking about doors, I
Yeah,
have to mention Savares.
it's a Savares.
Oh,
Yeah.
Savaris, yeah, I've heard
Right.
of it. Yeah.
Right.
I've
Yeah, that's
sponsored
what he
them.
uses.
So
Right.
and I love them, but it also depends like which guitar you always play. But
Oh, sure.
I think it's also important as an artist that you choose a company. They help you, right?
That
And
support you. Yeah.
and they help you to get your sound as well, and they work with you. So that's important always.
Yeah, we're going to be at NAMM, as a matter of fact. Kaiser, we worked with Kaiser on our own custom capo. I mean, it's a regular capo, but it has our brand name on it, and we're going to be doing some shows at NAMM. Okay, I like the old school. I like.
I'm just saying, I use it occasionally.
I understand those and the little screw-in, but
Yeah.
the quick change on stage.
Yeah, it's not as quick. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but they've been extremely supportive to us, and we've recently done some videos for them, showcasing some of
So
the.
what's unique about them? Now we started talking about them. Tell me about it.
Well, no, I mean, like I said, it's really just custom in the way that it has our logo on it. But we're just, we're just kind of brand partnership with them, and they love what we do, and we love their capos. And that, like you said, it comes down to what do you love? What do you like? What works for you? So we are, going to support them at NAMM. But I wanted to go back to what you were saying about a band, because band dynamics can be all kinds of complications and stuff.
Yep.
When we're in a room and we are working on something, I feel like the song takes control over us. And our expertise, our talent, our experience comes out to service the song. And ultimately, that's the most important thing. And we all
Helps if you have
bring it.
instruments.
I'm sorry?
It also helps if you have cat strings, of course.
Yeah, go ahead, gut string and butter.
Sorry, I
Chardonnay.
mentioned that. I should have never mentioned it.
And butter Chardonnay. Yeah. No, it's really amazing because yeah, we are all so very different, but when we're actually coming up with parts, it's like this quilt that's being built.
Mm.
Quilt being built. And it gets put together. And it's really, I love it. It's like magic in motion. And I've had a lot of experience being a solo artist, but this really special about collabs. That's really, you don't find that a lot.
No, and I can envision you all in the studio. I can. It's
fun.
more. It's like this to me. You're all very good at what you do, and I see it as more of a serious look at the song, the tune. In other words, if I go in, I've written a song, I'm going to sit around and talk to the bass player and say, hey, what kind of riff you think you're going to put on this? Or hey,
Right.
the last time I was at Muscle Shows, I told a friend of mine, I said, he goes, do you want to hear what I'm going to do? I said, no, I want to hear you when you play the song. Let me hear it, and then I'll tell you if I like it or not. You guys all have that ability, and Marcus, that disgusting thing of being able to read music. But what I've learned about...
It's very helpful, actually. It's very
No, and
helpful.
I was going to say this too.
Shame on me. Shame on me.
Very
No.
helpful.
No, I will tell you, a lot of guitar players and musicians I've talked to start playing classical piano at the beginning. A lot of them do start on piano, and they understand they understand how songs are made up. I guess in other words, it's easier for them, I think, when they're classically trained to understand a little bit. I mean, I know how to write a song. I write a song. I know how it works. I know all that stuff, but that was from learning. But I just kind of envision you guys sitting more of a studio. I don't know how to say this. Being more serious about it. Having a good time, but it's like, okay, what do you think we're going to do here? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
No, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. And the fact is, you all respect each other's playing qualities, and you know what each one's strengths are. That's another thing that's cool. You've been playing long enough together. You know what's. Hey,
it's true.
Marcus can do. You do this, and that's what you do best.
It's
or
true.
Robert, you didn't take off on this part.
I mean, it's no doubt Marcus and Robert both have schooling in it. I have some training, of course, but mine has just been experiential. And sometimes it's good when you have somebody who's like, okay, you need to play a third above here, and then some of that is very handy. I don't think that way. I'm listening in other ways. So I think it's good when you have these things. This is like I said originally, this is a great recipe.
It's like Marcus said, when you trained in flamenco, jazz, classical, they're all different. They're all different. I mean, I studied a little bit of the jazz. I live close to the best jazz school in America, University of North Texas. They're phenomenal students up there. And they always do stuff different than I would ever do. And they play those weird-ass chords that like, what are you playing here? 8th, 7th, augmented 5th over G. And I'm like, what? Show me that. Oh, it's like a C without this thing up here. Yeah, that's it. It's like, but I think that's what makes the song better too. When you guys, but sorry, I don't want to keep you all night. But what's the next thing for you guys? You mentioned something. When is it? December? You're going out again, or what's the next thing?
November we have dates with the California Guitar Trio, which you can see on our website.
Right. Okay. So I can tell you as well. It's November 14th in Fresno, and then November 15th in Saratoga, and November 16th in Fallon. But if anyone wants us to hear, if anyone wants to play us somewhere else, shoot us an email, because we would love to know if you guys are out there, if any of your listeners. And then in December we go to Florida. In December we play them with Tommy Manuel in Fort Myers.
So I'm saying, where's that going to be?
That's in Fort Myers and
Florida,
Clearwater, and then Jacksonville, and then we go to Charlotte, and then Newberry and Charlottesville, and so all those areas.
Southeast USA.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then in the midst of it, we're working on, as mentioned, new originals and the cover, and we're working with EA Games, a video game company, on a remake
cool.
of a very popular video game theme song. Sync and placement, we fit right in with sync and placement, and we're really excited about this opportunity with EA Games. And
they're a biggie. They're a biggie.
They're a biggie, and we have quite a cool arrangement of a popular song.
And then you're going to be at NAMM next year.
Then we'll be at NAMM with Kaiser in January, and more dates are being booked, and we're going to continue to record, and that's what's happening.
Well, that's it for this episode of The Trout Show. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really, really, really appreciate it. A very big special thank you to Janet, Marcus, and Robert from the String Revolution for stopping by and talking about their wonderfully talented guitar work. For more information about the String Revolution, just visit their website at thestringrevolution.com, all spelled out, thestringrevolution.com. And a special shout out to David Smith with Edward Jones for his continuing support of this show. Thank you, David, very much. For more information about The Trout Show, you know where to find it. Go to our website at thetroutshow.com. Everything's there, including all our podcasts, all our YouTubes, and anything else we got coming up. So until next time, people, you know what I always say. It's only rock and roll, but I love it. See ya!